Have you ever noticed this? You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted because you didn't rest. You just paused the chaos. And here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of what's draining you isn't life. It's access. People's access to your time, your phone's access to your attention, your own mind's access to your peace. In this video, I'm going to give you a simple Stoic way to detach without becoming cold, selfish, or unavailable. You'll learn 3 practical detachment moves you can use this week to stop leaking energy with people, with the internet, and with your own thoughts. And stay with me, because near the end, I'll share the mistake almost everyone makes when they try to detach, the one that quietly pulls them right back into burnout. If you're in your 30s or 40s, this hits different. You're not just managing yourself anymore. You're managing a job, relationships, maybe kids, maybe aging parents, maybe bills that seem to multiply overnight. You don't have the luxury of figuring it out later. Your nervous system is already taking payments, and modern life is designed to keep you attached. Not attached like connected, attached like hooked, attached to the endless scroll, attached to other people's moods, attached to news cycles that spike your stress, attached to expectations you never agreed to, attached to guilt that sounds like responsibility. Stoicism, real Stoicism, not motivational quotes, starts with one idea that feels almost too simple. You don't control what happens, you control what you give your mind to. Marcus Aurelius said it like this: your power is not over the world, it's over your mind. So today, we're not talking about not caring. We're talking about detachment as discipline, detachment as energy management. Because here's the real definition we're using. Detachment is the ability to care without carrying, to stay kind without being consumed, to stay present without being owned. And I'm going to structure this in a way that makes it easy to follow and hard to forget. 1. Detaching from people who drain you. 2. Detaching from the internet that hijacks you. 3. Detaching from the inner voice that exhausts you. Each one will follow the same pattern. Point to real-life pain, to practical fix. Let's start with the one you feel the most, but hesitate to admit. Part 1. Detach from people without becoming a jerk. Some people don't just talk to you, they withdraw from you. They withdraw your patience, your attention, your emotional labor, your calm. And it's tricky because they don't always look toxic. Sometimes they look like a coworker who just needs to vent, a family member who calls only when something's wrong, a friend who always has a crisis, a partner who dumps stress on you like you're a dumpster, not a person. Stoicism doesn't ask you to hate these people. It asks you to stop being available to dysfunction. Let me paint a scene you probably know. It's late. You finally sit down. Maybe you're about to eat. Maybe you're about to watch something mindless just to cool your brain down. Then your phone buzzes. You look at the name and your stomach does that little drop, because you already know how this goes. You'll listen for 5 minutes, then 10, then 30. You'll say something supportive. You'll offer solutions. You'll try to be patient. And when you hang up, you'll feel like someone unplugged you. Not because you're heartless, because you just spent your energy trying to regulate someone else's emotions. Or maybe it's at work. You walk into the office or open your laptop, and within 10 minutes, someone is ranting, complaining, gossiping, stirring drama, and you can feel it happening. Your mood starts shifting. You weren't even upset, but now you are. Like stress is contagious. This is what drains adults in silence. Not huge tragedies every day, but constant emotional leakage. And if you're a responsible person, you get trapped because you tell yourself, I should be there. They need me. If I don't answer, I'm a bad person. If I set a boundary, I'm selfish. That voice sounds moral, but sometimes it's just fear wearing a moral costume. Here's the move. Stop being a sponge. Become a wall. Not a cold wall, a clear wall. Picture a glass wall between you and their storm. You can see it, you can acknowledge it, but you don't have to stand inside it. You do that with one sentence that changes your life. I can listen, but I can't carry this with you. Or, if you want it more casual, I hear you. I'm not in the headspace to go deep right now. I care about you. I need to keep this short. I can't talk tonight, but I can check in tomorrow. I'm rooting for you. What's the next step you're taking? Notice what that does. You're not abandoning them. You're guiding the interaction into something healthy, because here's the Stoic principle underneath it. You are responsible for your choices, not for other people's emotional weather. Your job is not to fix their life. Your job is to protect your capacity so you can live yours. Practical tool, the cost question. Before you say yes to a draining conversation, ask, what will this cost me, and can I afford that cost today? Because energy is a bank account, and if you keep giving withdrawals to people who never deposit, eventually you go emotionally bankrupt. Practical tool, the 2 doors boundary. When someone wants access, you choose one of 2 doors. Door A, support, listening plus empathy. Door B, solution, one action step plus accountability. If they refuse both doors and only want door C, endless venting, then the problem isn't their pain, it's their pattern, and your boundary is what breaks the pattern. Now, even if you handle people perfectly, you can still be drained by something that sits in your pocket. Let's talk about the internet. Part 2, detach from the internet that hijacks you. Your phone is not just a device, it's a delivery system for other people's priorities, and you don't even need to be addicted to be affected. You can be productive, responsible, successful, and still lose your peace because your attention is constantly being interrupted, compared, provoked, and pulled. Stoicism calls this a loss of sovereignty. You're not choosing your focus, you're renting it out. Here's what it looks like in real life. You wake up, you reach for your phone, just for a second, then you see it. A headline that spikes your anxiety, a comment that irritates you, a post that makes you compare your life, a message that feels urgent but really isn't. And now your day starts with reaction instead of intention. Or you're at work trying to focus, but your brain has become trained like a dog. Buzz to check, buzz arrow check, silence arrow still check, because you're anxious without the stimulus. And the wild part is, you can be drained without even scrolling that much. Sometimes it's just the mental residue, like your mind is carrying 20 open tabs. Did I reply? What did they mean by that? Am I falling behind? Why is everyone so angry? Should I post something? Should I be doing more? That is not information. That's noise disguised as relevance. Stoics had a brutal clarity about this. Not everything deserves your attention, and the practical solution is what I call aggressive ignorance. Not ignorance as stupidity, ignorance as strategy, because if you consume everything, you become a landfill. Your mind wasn't built to process the entire world's chaos before breakfast. Practical tool, the 1-hour rule, simple, powerful. For 1 hour per day, start with 30 minutes if you need. Put your phone in another room, not face down, not silent. Another room. Why? Because willpower is a weak muscle. Distance is a stronger one. That single hour does something almost nobody expects. You start remembering what your brain feels like without interruption. You start thinking deeper thoughts again. You start feeling your own emotional baseline again. And when you come back to your phone, you're less reactive because you're no longer starving for stimulation. Practical tool, curate inputs like food. If your diet was only sugar, you'd feel horrible. Information is the same. Ask yourself, does this make me wiser or just louder? Does this help my life or hijack it? Will I remember this tomorrow? If not, it's junk, and you don't need permission to stop eating junk. Practical tool: replace scroll with a default action. Here's the truth: you don't scroll because you want content. You scroll because you want relief. So give yourself a healthier relief that takes the same time. 10 slow breaths, a short walk, stretch your back and shoulders, write down one worry and one next step, drink water, clean one small area. It sounds too simple, but that's the point. Your brain isn't asking for a philosophy lecture, it's asking for a reset. Now we've talked about people and the internet, and you might be thinking, okay, I can set boundaries, I can reduce the noise, but why do I still feel exhausted sometimes, even when nobody is bothering me? That's the third drain. It's the one you carry everywhere, your own mind.
Part 3. Detach from the voice in your head. There's a narrator in your head that comments on everything, and if you don't train it, it becomes a bully pretending to be a coach. Stoicism teaches a sharp separation. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who can observe them. That separation is the beginning of peace. Here's what mental drain looks like. You lie down at night, and your day replays like a courtroom. You should have said that differently. Why did you let that happen? You're behind. You're messing this up. What if something goes wrong? Or you wake up with a heaviness you can't explain. Nothing happened. Nobody texted you. But your mind starts building a future disaster anyway. And the worst part is, it feels like you. That's why it's so exhausting, because you can't escape your own head. Here are 2 Stoic tools that are simple and life-changing if you practice them consistently. Tool 1. Label the thought. When a draining thought shows up, don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just label it. I'm having the thought that I'm failing. I'm having the thought that they don't respect me. I'm having the thought that something bad is coming. That tiny phrase creates distance. It turns the thought from a command into an event. Because most thoughts are not facts. They're just your nervous system trying to predict danger. Stoics would say, your mind throws impressions at you. Your job is to decide what to accept. Tool 2. The passengers in the car image. Imagine your mind as a car. You're the driver. Your thoughts are passengers. Some passengers are helpful. Some are loud. Some are dramatic. Some are paranoid. But here's the key. Passengers don't get to steer. They can talk all they want. You don't have to throw them out. You just don't hand them the wheel. So when anxiety shows up, you say, okay, you can ride, but I'm driving. When self-criticism shows up, okay, I hear you, but I'm still moving forward. That is detachment without denial. Practical tool, the 2-minute drain audit. This is the exercise I want you to actually do, not just nod at. Take 2 minutes today, set a timer, and write 3 lists. 1. What drained me this week? Be honest. 2. What gave me energy? Even small things. 3. What can I change by 10%, not 100%? The goal isn't to redesign your life overnight. The goal is to stop leaking energy unconsciously, because most people don't burn out from one big thing. They burn out from 1,000 small drains they never named, and naming is power. The mistake 90% make when trying to detach, the open loop payoff. Here's the mistake. People think detachment means cutting off emotion, so they try to detach by becoming harder, colder, unavailable. They start acting like they don't care. They ghost, they shut down, and it backfires because you can't build peace on avoidance. Real detachment is not, I don't care. Real detachment is, I care, but I won't abandon myself to prove it. That's the difference. If detachment makes you cruel, it's not detachment. It's a coping strategy. Stoicism is about strength with humanity. You can say no and still be kind. You can set boundaries and still love people. You can protect your focus and still show up for your life. Detachment isn't disconnection. Detachment is clarity. Let's lock it in. 1. People. Some people withdraw your energy. You feel drained after every interaction. Fix. Use the glass wall plus 1 sentence boundary. I can listen, but I can't carry this with you. 2. Internet. Your phone rents out your attention. You start your day reactive, anxious, scattered. Fix. Aggressive ignorance plus 1 hour phone in another room. 3. Your mind. Thoughts aren't facts. Overthinking, self-criticism, anxious loops. Fix. Label the thought plus passengers in the car plus 2-minute drain audit. And here's the deeper thread tying them together. Detachment is you choosing what deserves access to you. Your time, your attention, your emotions. That's not selfish. That's adult. If you're tired, you don't need a brand new personality. You need fewer leaks. You don't need to fix everything. You need to stop giving everything access to you. Start small. Start today. Pick 1 boundary, 1 hour without the phone, 1 thought you label instead of obey, and watch what happens when you stop living like your peace is public property. If this hit you, do the 2-minute drain audit today. Then come back and tell me in the comments, what drains you the most right now? People, the internet, or your own mind? And if you want more practical Stoic tools you can actually use in real life, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.